In the heart of a vast national park, filled with deep gorges and surrounded by desert plains, two lifelong friends, Emma and Sarah, decided to embark on a camping adventure. Their fascination with Native American culture led them to explore the ancient cliff dwellings nestled inside caves, high above the canyons. Setting up their camp near the park's main attraction, the friends laughed and recounted all the cool things they saw earlier that day at the neatly preserved ruins. As dusk settled, the air grew thick with an unnerving tension. However, they quickly dismissed the eerie feelings that lingered within because they were surrounded by the glow of campfires from nearby campers. Their laughter slowly faded into unease when they noticed a peculiar mist drifting through the campsite. Unfazed, they attributed it to the chill of the night. But the mist grew thicker, taking on an eerie luminescence that sent shivers down their spines. They quickly extinguished their campfire and took cover inside the tent. Shortly thereafter, the sound of footsteps crunching on dry grass and kicking up sand was heard circling the tent. The two friends huddled together underneath a blanket, trembling and desperately holding back from making noises. Suddenly, a yellow light shone through the thin tarp that separated them from whatever it was that stood on the other side. "Just checking to see if you two gals are okay." The wife was concerned. "She can't ever mind her own business," said a deep male voice with a strong accent. Sarah responded with a tone of uncertainty. "Thank you, but we'll be okay." The man apologized for disturbing them and then returned to his area. Emma and Sarah breathed sighs of relief and giggled over how silly they had been. They both agreed that there was nothing to fear, and each turned the other way, falling into a peaceful slumber. It must have been after midnight when Sarah woke up to a blood-curdling howl. She remembered reading in the brochure that coyotes abound in the park. That's when she noticed Emma missing. Sarah was confused, as they both had agreed to stay together at all times for safety reasons. She felt conflicted over whether or not she should leave the tent to find Emma. But in the end, it was the right thing to be with her best friend. With a flashlight in hand, Sarah could see the back of a figure going into the women's restroom up ahead. She hurried along to catch up. Upon entering the restroom, there was only the eerie echo of her own voice when she called out Emma's name. All the stalls were empty, including the ones for showering. In a state of panic, Sarah pushed the door open and nearly injured a woman on her way out. Sarah thought it was strange for the woman not to carry a flashlight. She also noticed the woman wearing a knee-length dress fashioned from deerskin. But who was she to question people's sense of fashion in this part of the state? Plus, the brochure pointed out that there were Indian reservations in the area. The flashlight began to fade, leaving Sarah to stumble through the dark and trip over rocks lodged in the dirt. As she stood up after a nasty fall, she was violently pushed backwards. Thank goodness that it was only Emma who came crashing into her. After feeling relieved to find each other, they started debating over who left the tent first. Sarah was absolutely certain that she woke up to Emma missing. Just then, strange wailings echoed in the distance. They could see a long line of silhouettes moving towards them. The two girls sprinted back to their tent and kept a lantern turned on. Suddenly, impressions of many hands beat against the tarp violently, while children laughed in the background. Emma and Sarah cried out for help, but it was as if nobody heard them. The campsite was completely dead silent, except for the strange moans coming from the apparitions that surrounded them. The tent shook and lifted off the ground, causing the girls to roll and tumble over each other. Somehow, Sarah managed to unzip the tent and crawled out to escape. Emma followed pursuit, and the girls hightailed out of the campsite in their Jeep. Sarah didn't stop driving until the sun was high in the sky and they were back to civilization. Several weeks later, a small package arrived in the mail addressed to Sarah. Inside was the cell phone that she had left behind when she fled the nightmarish event. The phone rang as soon as she powered it back on. "Just checking to see if you two gals are okay." The wife was concerned. She can't ever mind her own business. It was the same deep male voice with a strong accent that had approached them on the night of the incident.